And we welcome you to Blues Game Day Live alongside Joe Vitale. I'm Darren Pang. You notice that Joe's got a wonderful tan. Boy, you look good, kid. There's something called
sunblock.
Yeah, but it's still.
This happened my first day, and I didn't really recover.
That's okay, buddy. You look great. You look great. You look refreshed.
Yeah.
You sound refreshed, and so that segue goes right to the players. This is the first game after a break. You've been there before. It's a long break. What do you expect for tonight's game?
This is very similar to the Olympic break. I think my third or fourth year into the league, I think we had like 12 days off, so it was a long time. I think it's a good reset for the players. I think that if you looked at the bye week plus the All-Star break, I asked most players, would you rather have the bye week and then play a couple weeks, then the All-Star break, or have it lumped in the same week? And I think a lot of players really like this. It really gives them a chance to get away fully. 5-6 days, do absolutely nothing, and then you have about 3 or 4 days, you get back to the gym, you start skating again. So if I'm the Blues tonight, I'm going to keep it simple. You're playing a Blue Jackets team that have already played 2 games after break. You want to keep it simple. You don't want to manufacture any kind of hope plays. You want to manage the puck very well at the blue line because if you get caught out there too long, it could be a scary thing.
Well, some of the Blues fans are missing their hockey for sure, and knowing that the Blues have got a little bit of traction going on with the way that they're playing and climbing up, and there's a lot of hope for the St. Louis Blues. But in telling you that they had that time off, in watching the last couple of skates that they had at the Mills before heading here to Columbus, they look sharp, they look fast. Their execution in practice was as good as I've seen. So that's all. That bodes real well getting ready for tonight's game. You mentioned the way you play the game, the way you manage it. Columbus played a game just 2 nights ago in Winnipeg where they were leading 3-2 in the third, end up losing that game 4-3. They're hopping out there as well. There's something behind us. It's called a cannon. If you haven't been to this building, I'm going to tell you, when Columbus, if Columbus scores a goal, that goes off and it's really loud.
It's loud.
It's really loud.
Very loud.
We want to shut that thing down tonight, okay?
And no matter how many times you've heard it, as a player, as a broadcaster,
it startles you, doesn't it?
It'll jolt you. It'll get you going.
So
we want to shut that down
The
tonight.
key is to quiet that sucker down there.
Maybe we can wheel it out of the building and hide it, like roll it down the street before the game tonight so they can't find it.
Well, big John David's will be running after us. Hey, boys! Big boy! But they've played 2 games, as you mentioned, and they're going to not be happy with the way the last 2 have gone. All that being said, the Blues have really been good defensively. Jordan Binnington has been solid in goal. When Jake has played, he's been solid. There's an inner competition with the D. Robert Bortuzzo didn't play the last game. Edmondson jumped in there in the last couple of practices. That's kind of the way they kept it as well. So what has been the difference have you seen in the team D, especially when you're going up a guy like Panarin and Cam Atkinson that's going to return likely for this game as well?
I think it's like you mentioned, the competition within the group. I think it's really healthy. We saw it with Binnington. We saw it with Allen. I mean, and then defensively, you mentioned Bortuzzo. Edmondson's been in and out a little bit as well. With Gunnarsson back, everyone's kind of fighting for that spot. I think it's a really healthy thing. I think they let up 13 shots in the Anaheim game. Probably the best defensive game I've seen from the St. Louis Blues. And people made the argument, well, it's the Mighty Ducks. They're not that great. But this is still the National Hockey League, and they've won some big games in the recent past.
And they're not called the Mighty Ducks anymore. They're just called the Ducks.
Well, I thought they were mighty before the game, but not so much after the game.
Yeah, the Blues played well.
They did. They played very well.
Yeah.
Very well
Anaheim
defensively.
didn't really give them very much. This is going to be a much different push here.
It is.
In this game. The month of January, let's give you some good news. It's Groundhog Day today. You know that, huh?
I had no idea.
You know the shadows and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm not a big I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, well, we're going to have a nice...
It involves a groundhog, though,
We're going to have an early spring. Yes, it does involve a groundhog.
Did you see your shadow this morning?
No, I'm too short. January record, 7-4-1. The good news here, 7-4-1, okay? Ryan O'Reilly, great before the All-Star break, deserved to be in the All-Star game, got in the All-Star game and had only 7 points.
It's awesome.
Almost the MVP, almost brought himself home a truck. He's got a 6-game point streak, his 3rd such point streak of the season, so he's got 8 points, and he's sitting on 299 assists. His line mate on the right is now 91. Tarasenko looked like they're humming. In January, Vladdy had 6 goals in 11 games and 10 points. That's good news, and his 17 goals is tied for the lead. The left winger. It brings me to their left winger. In their last game against Anaheim, I really like this line.
Braden Chen.
And they're going to keep that going. And I know that he may not favor being a winger rather than a centerman, but boy, he looked good.
What about it as a winger? Do you think it's harder for centermen to move to the wing versus wingers moving to the center?
Oh, I think it's harder for a winger that's not a centerman.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of responsibilities at center ice, as you know.
Right.
The 200-foot game, the face-offs, and what have you. But I think the one thing that frustrates a centerman going to the wing is that there's just stops and starts.
Right.
You're not wheeling back. You're not picking up that speed. And he's a guy that likes to carry the puck through the neutral zone.
Yep.
So there are some adjustments. But I thought he looked quick in the game in Anaheim. I thought he was on pucks. It really helped the forecheck for both of them. An interesting story, too. We'll show it on Fox Sports Midwest tonight. I know people are talking about it. The Blues AAA U18 team on the ice at the Mills. And the day before the official practice, there was Shen and there was O'Reilly on the ice. They stayed on afterwards with that group, and there's some great pictures on social media. And it says a lot about those two guys as well. So maybe there's a little chemistry going on with Shen and Ryan O'Reilly.
Well, you would hope so. I thought they looked good in that game as well, and I thought Braden Shen's wall play was exceptional. That's something he was always worried about. When you move from center to wing, the wall play, the battles in the wall, it's something you're not really used to. You have defensemen who are breathing down your neck. Big defensemen tonight we're going to see.
Yep.
But I thought Braden handled it very well. And you mentioned centerman who loved the attack to the middle, Robert Thomas. He's been back in practice.
Yep.
He hasn't been released off the IR yet.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
We're thinking that
but everybody,
maybe we might see him.
Everybody from himself, from the coach, from the practice, from the lines. So it looks like we might see Robert the Thomas back in the
lineup. Full steam ahead whenever I see him out there.
How tough will it be for a guy like Binnington, if he's the goalie for tonight's game, going up against Panarin for the first time?
Oof,
That's
man.
a lot of movement out there.
Oh,
as a team, you got to defend this guy.
He's explosive, and
Yeah.
one thing I've always
dances.
A coach once told me is his head, his shoulders, and his hips. They all work independently. So you may look at his hips go one way, but his head will go another way, and the puck will go an opposite way. So he's very elusive. He's very deceptive about and he's a passer too. He's not just going to shoot the puck. He's great about hitting seams. You'll notice him tonight when he comes over that blue line. He loves to pull up. He loves to look for that second wave. Seth Jones is going to be joining the rush here tonight. It's going to be a big responsibility for all the Blues to come back to the house hard. But for Binnington, you have to be on your toes at all time. As you know, as a goaltender, when you're playing a guy like that, you never know when they're going to shoot the puck.
That's exactly right. I'm looking forward to this game tonight. I'm good to be back in action, big guy.
I'm excited. I missed you. I did.
Yeah, I know. I missed you as well, too. And I know that the players missed us as well.
Oh, they definitely missed you.
There's no question. So if the Blues were to win tonight, they'd be 1 point back of Colorado and Vancouver, climbing the ladder, but don't keep in mind Colorado and Vancouver, they play each other tonight. That's going to be the story the rest of the way.
So someone has to win that game.
There's always going to be points. It's always going to be a little stressful when you're watching, but enjoy the game because it's going to be a fun ride. That's going to be the pregame show is going to be it's a 6 o'clock start in St. Louis, 5:30 on the pregame show. Right, Pinky? I got the times right, the time zones? Okay, so that's going to be 5:30 on the pregame show on that 50,000 watt blowtorch KMOX. You and Chris Kerber with the call. Amy with the pre?
Amy with the pre.
That's good for Amy. She deserves it. She works hard.
She's awesome.
And the first female, well, she's running the show.
She's doing it tonight.
Full pre, full betweens, full post.
KMOX.
Amy Marks. Good stuff there, Amy. You're always at the rink. You're always working hard. Good luck tonight. Have some fun. And on obviously the Fox Sports Midwest, Bernie and Scott have the pregame show, and John Kelly and I will have the call right here from Nationwide Arena in Columbus. So we hope you enjoy your day and enjoy the game tonight. For Joe Vitale, I am Darren Robert Pang.